Look, I'm tired. Not the end of the day tired. I'm existentially exhausted. There are moments in this challenge where I can feel my brain quietly trying to leave my body. Not during the good games, not during the classics, but right here. Because this is the point in the PlayStation library where things stop making sense. I'm not talking about rough around the edges. I'm not talking about early 3D jank. I'm talking about games that felt like they were made at 3 in the morning by people who hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, and absolutely were not supervised. This is the part in the PS1 catalogue where Sony just stopped asking questions. You want a game about a screaming neon stick that explodes if you breathe wrong? Sure. You want a caveman who randomly falls asleep mid-stride while mammoths judge him? Why not? You want a perfectly normal office worker chased by a man in a gimp suit while scat music assaults your ears? Absolutely, just ship it. And the worst part, these aren't tech demos, these aren't joke discs, these are full retail games that real humans bought with real money, and then went home and tried to explain it to their friends. This is index numbers 12 through to 16, 5 games that feel like they escaped from different timelines. Games most people have never heard of, never played, and never wanted to play until now. And that's the dangerous part, because once you get past the exhaustion, once you get past the confusion, there's something fascinating here. These games weren't chasing realism, they weren't copying trends, they were experiments. Bad ones, weird ones, occasionally brilliant ones. This is the PlayStation library before focus groups, before patches, before anyone knew what a brand identity was. It's messy, it's loud, it's deeply uncomfortable, and I've just played all 5 back to back. So today, we're not reviewing masterpieces, we're surviving the bizarre zone. No nostalgia goggles, no mercy, and no skipping. Just 5 strange games, and one very tired man trying to stay sane. Let's start with index number 14, Incredible Crisis, a game that proves that in 1999, the Japanese corporate world was just one bad day away from total multiverse collapse. Incredible Crisis isn't a video game, it's what happens when someone hands a PS1 dev team a megaphone and tells them to shout every bad idea at once while running through a shopping mall. This game doesn't ease you in, it doesn't teach you, it doesn't care if your thumbs are ready. It throws you straight into panic and dares you to keep up. It throws you directly into the life of Tanio, an overworked office worker whose only crime is trying to get home to his grandmother's birthday. That's it. That's the plot. And the universe responds by attempting to kill him every 5 seconds. You don't walk anywhere in Incredible Crisis. You flee and you panic. You react like the ground itself has a personal vendetta against you. And the game is just refusing to agree with me. Within the first 10 minutes, Tanio is chased by a giant rolling globe, forced into a sudden office dance competition, nearly crushed by collapsing buildings, and emotionally abused by his own workplace. And that's before the game even starts getting weird. Because Incredible Crisis is not one game, it's every genre thrown at you without warning. 1 minute, it's a rhythm-based dancing, except the button timing feels completely off. I'm hitting the button. I know I'm hitting it. It feels like I have to smash the D-pad just to convince the game I'm alive. I'm 10 minutes into capturing footage, and I'm still watching grown adults dancing in an office like this is a legally binding obligation. Then suddenly, it's button mashing, and not gentle button mashing. This is Metal Gear Solid torture sequence button mashing. My thumb instantly unlocked PTSD from trying and failing to save Meryl back in the day. My thumbs were not designed for this. They were made for grabbing, holding, not whatever Incredible Crisis thinks is reasonable. And then, because it hates you, the game adds obstacles. Imagine being tortured by Ocelot, and halfway through he decides to start throwing rocks at you just to keep things interesting. That's Incredible Crisis. Thank God I'm living in the age of save states. If this was the 90s, the disc would already be a coaster for my little juice box. Next challenge, a falling lift. More button mashing, more dodging. My thumb muscle is already screaming at me. I'm hitting left on the D-pad, mashing X, getting hit on the head with a TV, and genuinely yelling at my monitor like you can hear me. This game is unforgiving. You fill the meter, once it hits about 70%, it just stops. A bucket hits you on the head, meter resets, timer still ticking. I finally get to the end of the meter, only being hit once, and I still fail. Apparently, this game demands absolute perfection to let this poor man escape a lift. I think I've done it. Cutscene plays, then a fridge falls on me, and I'm forced to do a second round at an even faster pace. Completely unfair, borderline cruel. I'm sitting in my living room, snow outside, heating on, realising I am sweating bricks because of a PS1 game that has me mashing X for the past hour. Then I'm falling from a skyscraper. Now it's balanced based. Wind physics. The danger flies right past the green zone. You barely have time to react. The wind pushes you. You scramble with the D-pad to regain balance. Your brain is already exhausted. Then I'm in an ambulance. New challenge. A pub quiz. I'm being asked questions in a font I can barely read while still panting from the button mashing I just survived. 2 seconds per question, not even enough time to read it. You need to get 10 right, so I'm guessing, panicking, getting them wrong. I'm playing through 1,278 games, and here I am, being brain blasted by a pub quiz in the back of an ambulance. Then I fall out the ambulance and start sliding down a hill into oncoming traffic. Motorbikes appear only after they've already hit me in the face. Then suddenly, I'm giving a woman a massage. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. There are no visual cues. I'm watching a Ferris wheel spin, listening to instructions like up and left, with nothing on screen to guide me. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing when massaging a lady, because I cannot get past this part, and this is where I hit a wall. My thumb hurts just thinking about it, because I've always been bad at button mashing. I remember games like Knockout Kings, outboxing my brother for 11 rounds, getting knocked down once and losing instantly because I couldn't mash X quick enough to get off the canvas. Repressed memory unlocked. And yeah, here's the thing, despite all of this, the pain, the chaos, the unfairness, I actually had a blast. This game is unlike anything else, even 30 years later. The high energy chaos, completely random, totally exhausting, but it's curated chaos. Every moment is tuned to push you right to the edge without fully breaking you. Incredible Crisis understands something most games forgot. Panic is a mechanic, and that's why it works. Index Entry 14 is in the bag. One of the weirdest PS1 games ever made, and one of the bravest, and absolutely nobody would greenlight this today, which is exactly why it exists. I'm done, I can't get off the Ferris wheel. I'm moving on to the next bizarre game, praying it doesn't ask me to rapidly press anything ever again. Next up, Irritating Stick. And before we go any further, this might be the most honest game title ever printed on a PlayStation box. No metaphor, no exaggeration, no marketing spin. It's a stick, and it is irritating. That's the whole pitch. If you've never seen it, imagine a bomb defusal game, except the bomb is your patience, the timer is your sanity, and the controller was never meant for this crime. The goal's simple, guide a metal stick through a narrow tunnel without touching the sides, and that's it. No enemies, no story, no music that helps you relax, just you, a vibrating DualShock, and the constant threat of instant failure. And when I say instant, I mean violent. You don't get a gentle buzz, you don't get a polite warning. The second your stick brushes a wall, it's just boom. Full screen explosion. Controller shaking like it's trying to escape your hands, and the voice calmly saying something like oops or too bad, like you messed up his afternoon. The physics are absolutely unhinged. The PS1 D-pad was designed for fighting games, short, sharp inputs, left, right, down, forward. Irritating Stick demands surgical precision, and then adds 5 gears to it. 5. Why does a stick need gears anyway? Why am I shifting like I'm driving a manual transmission through a ventilation shaft? You tap the D-pad slightly too long, and suddenly you're moving at motorway speeds through a pixel-wide zigzag. And the levels, they're designed by someone who genuinely hates you. Tiny corners, false straightaways, curves that look safe until the last frame. There's one early section, not even late game, where the tunnel narrows for just half a second. I hit it every single time. 40 minutes on one level. Explosion, reload, explosion, reload. By the end, I wasn't angry. I was bargaining. Alright, I'll stop complaining. Just let me through. And the boss. Of course there's a boss. It's a giant neon face that rotates while you do the same thing, but worse. More speed, less margin, same explosion. By the time I cleared it, my hands hurt. My eyes were twitching, and my controller felt warm in a way electronics shouldn't. Irritating Stick doesn't test skill. It tests how long you're willing to suffer before questioning your life choices. Index 12 is completed. I did exactly what it promised, and that's the nicest thing I'll say today. After Irritating Stick, a game powered entirely by rage, we swing violently in the opposite direction. This is Tale of the Sun, a game so slow, so quiet, so uninterested in your presence that at first I thought it hadn't loaded properly. Tale of the Sun drops you into a prehistoric world with zero instructions, no tutorial and no dialogue, no text box saying press X to do anything. You are a caveman and you are naked, and the sun is setting whether you like it or not. The objective, I am using that word generously, is to stack mammoth tusks high enough to reach the sun. That's not metaphorical, that's not symbolic. You are building a ladder to the sun. Why? The game does not care. You start by wandering a massive open world that feels empty in a way modern games are terrified of. No minimap and no question marker, no helpful NPC yelling hey from off the screen. Just plains, mountains, occasional animals, and hunger. Hunger is constant. You hunt animals by running directly at them with a spear that feels like it was carved from disappointment. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes the game decides you didn't. When you kill something, you don't celebrate, you collapse, because every action drains energy, and energy drains fast. If you misjudge a hunt, you don't die heroically. You sit down, and the sun moves, night falls, and you wait. Actual waiting. Not a cutscene, not a fade out. You just sit there watching darkness slowly take over the screen while wondering if this is still gameplay. It is. This game has real-time day and night cycles on the PlayStation 1, not because it's impressive, but because it refuses to rush you. Even building the tusk tower is miserable in the best way. You don't place tusks neatly, you drag them one by one. They wobble, they fall, they clip the ground. I lost an entire afternoon because my tower collapsed at the last second. And then the game gave me nothing. No music sting, no failure sound, just silence, like it was disappointed in me. Tale of the Sun isn't fun in a traditional sense. It's hypnotic, it's alien. It feels like discovering a forgotten prototype that accidentally shipped. But here's the thing, I kept playing because every few minutes it does something no other PS1 game does. It lets you exist. No score, no urgency, and no reward loop. Just survival, patience, and the quiet confidence that maybe, eventually, you'll reach the sun. Index 13 is completed. This was another bizarre game, and after that, my brain needed a moment. So naturally, the next game is about a smiling Domino, slowly driving me towards a psychological episode. This is No One Can Stop Mr. Domino. And before we go any further, the title is lying to you. I can stop him. I can just turn off the game and leave the room. But the game doesn't want you to. Mr. Domino is a living domino tile with legs, arms and a bow tie. He runs in a constant loop around a tiny stage, smiling like he knows something you don't. Your job is simple. On each lap, you place dominoes in his path. On the next lap, he knocks them down. You've got to create a chain and hit the goal tile. This will win the level. That's it. And yeah, it feels like performance surgery with oven mitts. The timer is always ticking. Mr. Domino never stops running. You're frantically placing tiles while your creation slowly collapses behind you. And if one domino is off by a single pixel, the entire plan dies. No undo, no forgiveness, just failure. And the music, oh my god, the music. It's a 15-second time loop. Quirky jazz that sounds like it was composed by someone who hasn't slept since Clinton was in office. It loops endlessly, it drills into your skull, By level 5 I was humming it against my will, which I'm pretty sure is how Stockholm Syndrome starts. Then the game introduces hazards, random obstacles, traps, things that should not exist in a domino puzzle. In the casino level, I had everything lined up perfectly, perfect spacing, perfect timing. The trick tile was waiting, I hit the run button, Mr. Domino sprinted forward, and then a giant wooden foot descended from the sky and crushed him. Why? Why is there a foot? Why does it exist? Why is Mr. Domino still smiling while dying? When he runs out of energy, he doesn't explode. He fades. His colours drain away. He slows and he collapses. It's not funny. It's unsettling. This is a puzzle game where the protagonist visibly gives up. And here's the thing, it's brilliant because this isn't a game about speed or reflexes. It's about pressure. It's about planning under stress. It's about making perfect decisions while a jazz band laughs at you. Every level feels like defusing a bomb while someone keeps changing the wire colours. When I finally cleared the last stage, I didn't celebrate. I exhaled. Index 15 was complete. No one can stop Mr. Domino, but you can survive him. Barely. After Mr. Domino, I needed silence. Not music, not jokes, just silence. And somehow, the PlayStation finally listened. Index number 16 is Roll Away, or Kula World if you grew up outside North America. This game feels like walking into a quiet room after the party went on too long. You play as a ball, that's it. No face, no voice, no trauma, just a ball, floating platforms and the sky. You roll forward and collect keys, avoid falling and reach the goal. It's simple, and after the last 4 games, it feels like therapy. The first thing you notice is the music. It doesn't shout at you, it doesn't loop aggressively, it just kinda exists. Soft, calm, almost apologetic. The levels float in the void, like puzzle boxes suspended in air. Bright colours, clean shapes and no clutter. And then the trick reveals itself. Gravity flips. Roll over an edge and suddenly, that wall is the floor. The world folds in on itself. It's like Inception. Up becomes forward, forward becomes down. It messes with your head, but in a good way. This is a rare PS1 game that trusts you. There's no timers screaming at you, and there's no announcer mocking you. If you fall, it's your fault, and the game quietly lets you try again. The puzzle starts gentle, then they get clever, then they get mean. There's disappearing tiles, moving platforms, keys placed just far enough away to make you doubt the angle. You start thinking in 3 dimensions, then 4, and something strange happens. You relax, your breathing slows, your shoulders just drop. After neon sticks, cavemen, jazz dominoes and gimp suit ambulances, this little beach ball is the first thing that doesn't fight you. And maybe that's why Roll Away became so expensive. A physical copy now runs into the hundreds because people didn't throw it away, they just kept it. It's not loud, it's not famous, but it is timeless. By the time I cleared the final stage, I realised something. This wasn't just the end of a bundle, it was a reminder. The PS1 wasn't just chaos, it was an experimentation. Someone, somewhere, looked at a console known for explosions and fighters and said, what if we made something calm? So that's Index 16 complete. 5 games, 5 completely different definitions of PlayStation. From vibrating sticks that hate you, to a caveman who naps professionally, to a man chased by a latex nightmare, to a domino having an existential crisis, to a ball quietly rolling through the sky. This is what the PS1 actually was. Not just classics, not just hits, but ideas. Bad ideas, weird ideas, and brilliant ideas. Ideas that never should have been approved, but somehow they were. Index 12 through to 16 are done. The sprint worked, but look at what's coming next. Index 17 will be Spyro the Dragon. Here's the confession, I've never actually played it. I was a Crash kid. I picked the orange guy with the jeans, not the purple dragon with the attitude. So next episode, no nostalgia goggles, no safety net. Just me, a dragon, and whatever the hell I missed. That's 5 more off the list. 1,262 games still to go. This is where the good ideas meet bad decisions, and I slowly worked through all 1,278 PlayStation games for reasons that stopped making sense somewhere around entry 3. If you like PS1 history done properly, not rushed, not recycled, and not fake hyped, subscribe and follow the PSX Index. I've been Parasan. Stay weird.